Hey, this is the Queen of Extreme, Francine, and you are listening to the Interactive Interview.
Interactive Wrestling Radio.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Interactive Interview on the interactiveinterview.com. I'm James Walsh, joined with Daniel Edler, and my special guest, Francine. Francine, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing pretty good. Do you mind if we just get started?
No, not at all.
All right, the first question is, were you a wrestling fan growing up?
I was to a point. I have a lot of nieces and nephews. I have 12 and one actually on the way. And there's a lot of nephews included in there, so they always had, been watching. So I watched it in passing, but I didn't become a really, really avid fan until about 1993.
And how did you become a fan? Like, what was your favorites to watch?
I basically watched the WWF.
Uh-huh.
And then I got into ECW because it was on the sports channel when I lived in Philadelphia.
Mm.
And that's late 93 is when I actually called up because I watched their program one night and I was like, I think I could do this. Little did I know all the, hard work it entailed. But I just called up the school and started training, and thank God I got a spot on the roster. So it worked out pretty well.
That's good. Who helped to train you?
J.T. Smith was my trainer. He was the original member of the Full-Blooded Italians. And he was my trainer. It was myself. I was the only girl.
Mm.
So it was myself, and it was 4 other guys. And we trained down at the ECW arena in Philadelphia. It was this was even before the House of Hardcore was around with Taz.
Mm.
So I trained in the back of the arena.
Mm. Dan, you want to take the next one?
What's your opinion on women in wrestling as being taken as serious competitors? Do you think that they are more suited to that role, or do you think they should be kept as just eye candy?
No, I think the role of women in wrestling has evolved a lot since I've started. I was taught that the more you can work, the more of a role you'll have, and the more job opportunities you'll get. So that's why I had learned to bump and wrestle a little bit. And nowadays the women are really just out there, and there's not too many that are just eye candy anymore. And I feel as a woman, the more you could do, the more you're respected, number one, but the more work you'll get. So I think the girls today are doing a tremendous job, not just the ones you see on TV, but on the indie circuit as well.
How was Stevie Richards to work with?
How was Stevie Richards to work with?
Yeah.
He was a fun guy. We were both relatively new at that point, and I think we played off each other well, and I was the girlfriend, and it was a fun angle. I did not enjoy sitting in the stands that much because the Philly fans were really crazy at that time, and that's how I started out as, a plant in the audience. But the whole experience was great, and I'm appreciative of, the opportunity that Paul gave me. So.
What are your memories of the original Catfight with Beetle McGillicuddy?
That it was awful. It was god-awful, and every time I see the tape I cringe, so I try not to watch it.
Dan, you want to take the next one?
How was Shane Douglas to work with at first?
He was good. We had a good relationship when he was in ECW. We worked together, I believe it was close to 3 years. And, he taught me a lot about the business, and I think we played well off each other, and, we were the main heel team that ECW had, and, we tried to take the ball and run with it, and we had good story angles to work with, too, and that helped a lot. But, I always got along with Shane when I worked with him. There were absolutely no problems.
Speaking of teams, you managed the Pitbulls as the Beastmaster. How did you enjoy that angle?
I'm sorry, how did I what?
Enjoy that angle.
I did not enjoy the outfits I had to wear, to be honest with you. The whole dominatrix vinyl thing wasn't my scene, but it matched them. So other than that, it was fun. I'd rather work with a single guy than a tag team, because when you're in a tag situation, the manager isn't really needed as often as she is when you just have one guy out there, because when there's 4 or more people in the ring, it tends to be a little chaotic. But that was my first year in the business on TV, and I think we worked okay together. I had so much to learn at that point, so it's all a learning experience, and I still learn, 10 years later when I walk to the ring, because you're never going to know everything about the sport, and I'm still learning as I go along. So,
Dan, you want to take the next one?
You helped Jasmin St get ready for your first catfight with her.
Right.
How do you feel about Jasmin nowadays?
Well, to tell you the truth, I think she needs to grow up and she needs to stop blaming others for her failures in wrestling. I read the interview that she did with you guys a couple days ago, I believe it was.
Yeah.
And, first of all, she blames me for her not working when we were in ECW. Her and I were friends in ECW. I wasn't the booker. Therefore, I had no control over Paul, who he booked and who he didn't book. I was told that she was mainly brought in to do pictures for the website, and that there was really no interest in her or Brian at the time, because, Brian was with us as Guinini years prior when he was heavyset, and a lot of people thought when he lost the weight, he lost his charisma as a worker, because, you had a really overweight guy that could do a hell of a moonsault, and he was so charismatic, and he really came off as a cartoon character. And, when the weight was dropped, he was basically, I'm not saying he can't work, because I think Brian's a good worker, but he lost something.
He lost his character, right.
And, they were mainly brought in, she was mainly brought in to do the website stuff, and they really only worked on the shows that they could drive to. And even some of the shows they came to, they weren't used. So, and that was not my fault. The TNA stint that I did with her last year,
right.
We did our thing. Before we did it, I was standing there with Vince Russo going over some of the stuff for the night, and a guy, and I don't know what this gentleman's name was, but he walked over and he said, Jasmin doesn't want to get her hair wet tonight. And here we had to do a shower scene where I threw her in the shower stall and turned the water on her. But I guess she wasn't comfortable with getting her hair wet, and, she sent this guy over to tell Vince Russo that. And Vince Russo just said, you tell her that she's going to do what I tell her to do. And I think if you want to point fingers, point it at yourself, because, nobody tells Vince Russo what to do. You're talent. You do what, the promoters tell you to do. So, and if I had so much pull in TNA, I'd still be working there. Her last show was my last show. So it really doesn't make sense to say that I put the kibosh on her in that company as well, because I had nothing to do with her not returning. I don't know why I didn't return, but I'm not pointing the finger at anybody but myself. Maybe I did something wrong, or maybe there's just not a role for me there. That's the way you got to think about it. And after we worked that night together, we went out to eat together, and I gave them a ride to their hotel room. So I really, the only thing I can think of for this outburst is, from what I'm told, she tried to get on a thing called WrestleCon that is in August that myself and a bunch of other stars are doing, and the guy told us point blank he wasn't interested in using her because he had heard, she was a prima donna, she was very demanding and whatnot, and I guess because she can't take rejection or whatever, she has to blame me. And, she can, she's more than welcome to come there, but I'm not the booker. I don't book people. I don't tell people where to go. And, some of her accusations are just really, really ridiculous. So I just wish she would just, be quiet, and she's making enemies. We just did a thing for a magazine called New Wave Wrestling. And I had a 4-page spread in it, and she has a 4-page spread. And one of the questions that they asked her was, what is the worst thing about the wrestling business? And her exact quote was people who get a break that haven't worked for it at all. And then she says, look at the WWE. I was wrestling long before Tori or Trish or any of those girls. Now, how can you say that Trish hasn't earned her spot on that roster? Or Tori, for that matter. These girls are on the road 4 or 5 days a week, and they're doing extra promotion for that company. She's never worked for a steady company that she's been on the road for. To me, that's just an idiotic statement, and she's just making enemies left and right. So right now my opinion is just, word to the wise, just be quiet.
Would you ever work with 3PW?
No. No, I wouldn't. And not that she would ever book me, but I have no interest in working for someone who just makes up idiotic stories that aren't true. And a lot of women have warned me, not to get too close to this girl. And I was close to her for a while, but, it just deteriorates when you hear things, from other people. I say it has to happen to me. I'm not going to listen to you. Let her cross me, and then I'll believe it. And she crossed me, so... this war, it's just ridiculous. And she can keep saying what she wants to say, and people are going to believe what they want to believe. I know how I was. I know who my friends are, and, I try to act in a professional state wherever I go. And she's just not a professional person. So good luck to her, good luck to her company, but I really wish that my name would never cross her lips again.
Switching back...
That's all the time I want to waste on her.
Going back to wrestling, when ECW went to TNN,
yeah.
Do you think that was a positive or a negative for the company?
In the beginning, I thought it was a positive. Little did we know as a company that we were really the guinea pig. We were just put on the air to see if wrestling would draw. And that whole time they were in negotiations with Vince and the WWF. So, we thought we hit it big, but we didn't. And I think TNN was part of our demise. They censored everything we did, and the hardcore TV show was so much better than the TNN show, but it got us more publicity. But we were only on there for like 11 months. So it could be a negative, but it also was a positive, if that makes any sense. I think it was more 50-50.
Right.
But I know for a fact that they were in talks with Vince when we were on their network. Because, the way they promoted us in the beginning, you barely saw a commercial for ECW on TNN. They showed it, like, maybe on Friday nights at 6 o'clock when our show aired at 8. But I remember when the WWF first aired, there were non-stop promotional, commercials and advertisements in the paper. We didn't have any of that stuff, so they were really putting their money and their effort into the WWF when we got the shaft.
What was your opinion of the love triangle between yourself, Raven, and Tommy Dreamer?
I liked it because Paul had let me do a lot of mic work, and that I felt was one thing that I always had a fear of, talking on the mic, and this helped me overcome it. To be honest with you, I still get nervous when I walk out of the curtain, whether I'm on an indie show or doing a pay-per-view or whatever. I always get nervous, and I always have butterflies in my stomach. But, remembering, your promos verbatim. I used to get my promos like 5 minutes before I'd walk out the curtain. That's just the way we were. That's the way Paul was, and it was really nerve-wracking. But I liked it because I had a lot of mic work done, and I felt it was a strong storyline. And it was just great to work with those guys, and I really missed the locker room, and it was just a really positive experience for me.
Dan, you want to take the next one?
We recently had an interview with New Jack, which was on our TNA special, and James had a bit of a run-in with him.
Yeah, actually, if you ever saw Wayne's World, when Wayne does the leprechaun thing and he has to calm Garth down.
Oh, right.
I was kind of doing that, sweetie, calm down for the rest of the interview, because he got quite steamed when I mentioned John Cronus' name.
Really?
Right.
Huh.
We were wondering if he's as insane as he seems.
I like New Jack, maybe because I've known him for so many years.
I like him quite a bit now as well.
Yeah, he, if you don't know him well, he can be a little crazy. He was a bounty hunter before he was a wrestler.
Right.
But, he, overall, I think he's a good guy, and I think he's a talented guy, and I don't know, what did you say to him to tick him off?
I asked how he enjoyed working with John Cronus.
Oh.
And he went,
I don't really know. I don't know what the heat is between the two of them. I'm not really sure. But I guess there's something there that pushed a button, so I really couldn't tell you about that. But, I've never had any problems with them, so I don't know. That's odd.
When you worked with Just Incredible, you did a, I'm going to quote Joey Styles here, so don't get offended, but no belt, no booty angle.
Right.
How did you enjoy that angle, and do you think that, just how did you enjoy the angle?
Well, over the years, my character has mainly been a slut, so to speak, and it's always fun playing something you're not.
Right.
And, I mean, my character was so far from, the real Francine. I mean, I'm sitting here now in sweats, with my hair in a bun and no makeup on, and that's me. And this cocky, arrogant bitch that you've seen on TV, it was just a lot of fun for me to play. So I really enjoyed playing heel angles, and the stuff with Justin, I was thrilled to work with him because we clicked right away. We were always friendly, but once we got the chance to work with each other, I think we clicked. And that whole angle was great, and from the minute we would get in the ring and pose together to, when we went through the curtain, we always had a good time. So I never really had any problems with any of the angles that I had to do. I mean, that's the one thing that was great about Paul. If you had a problem, you could go up and you could say, hey, Paul, not comfortable with doing this, but I never really had a problem with it. And we all had a lot of input to our character. So I think that's why everybody really misses ECW, because we did have a lot of creative control over ourselves.
When did you realize ECW was in trouble?
Well, when the checks started to bounce, that was a sign. I mean, we had a lot of checks bounce on us, and in Paul's defense, he did make good on the first series of bounce checks that I had received, because I had like 10 bounce on me in a row.
Wow.
But then when we just didn't get paid at all, and our dates started to get cut. I mean, we were on a roll. We were doing 4 shows a week, and we were on the road 4 or 5 days a week. And at that point, we were like, all right, this is great, because the money started to come in, and we were really, really busy. And then it got to 3 shows, and we were like, okay, well, we'll settle for 3. Then it was 2, and then some weekends it was just 1, and then we were having weekends off. So I mean, that's not a good sign when you're your time working is dwindled. Plus the fact that you're 8 weeks behind in paychecks, and sometimes you didn't get paid at all. So it was basically just loyalty to the company that kept us going, and we were all just trying to survive and trying to keep the company alive. But I mean, the last weekend was just horrible, and I've never seen that many grown men cry before in my life. So,
what are your memories of that show, the Pine Bluff show?
It was emotional. It was hard to work because I knew it was the last one. In my heart, I knew, even though we were told we were having a pay-per-view in March, I knew that show was the last show. And it was, I mean, I was at ringside crying. So it was hard. You give your best and you give your all for the fans, but the fans knew it, we knew it, and it was, it's not a good memory for me. I mean, it was just very emotional, very trying, and, that's the last time I saw a lot of those guys. And it's just sad, and the worst part was Paul didn't even come, So it just felt like we had been let down, and we did everything we could as talent to keep that company alive, and to this day I still don't know all the reasons why it went bankrupt, and I couldn't tell you. I'm just very sad that it left, and I worked there for 7 years. And there was so much potential there, and we just seemed to be moving on a steady incline, and then all of a sudden it just felt like the ladder got swept away, and we were plunging. So it's sad. I miss it. There's nothing more I can say. I'm happy for everybody who's gotten a job, either in the WWE or with NWA. That's great, and the rest of us are just on the indie scene trying to survive.
How does the indie scene compare to ECW?
It doesn't. I mean, it's hard. Now I try. I've been working for MLW, which is awesome. I mean, it's like ECW to me all over again. A lot of my old friends are there, and I've met a lot of great guys and girls, that work there too. So MLW to me is home. I work for DCW in Delaware. That's home. Other shows that I go to, I mean, sometimes I go by myself. I might not know anybody. Nobody talks to you. You know what I mean? It doesn't have that atmosphere. And then you work with strangers, so you really can't have fun in the ring, and that's when it becomes a job. And I know your job isn't supposed to be fun, but when we were in ECW, it was fun, and that's what made it so great to go to work.
Right.
And now, basically, most of these shows, that's just it. It's work. And the fun's not in it anymore. But I'm starting to, get back into it again with MLW and with DCW. So I'm just hoping MLW can grow and do more than once a month, because they have the potential, and we have a great locker room. We just need, more shows to build our fan base up.
How'd you hear about Nwa Tna?
I was online, I read something about it, and I saw that Bob Ryder was involved. And Bob Ryder, I knew from ECW because he did some stuff for us. We worked together back then. So I had just dropped him an email, and, I sent Jerry Jarrett an 8-minute highlight reel of myself along with some promo pictures. And Bob, called me up and was like, we're going to, book you. And I said, okay, great. And then I was booked for that lingerie battle royal.
What do you remember of that match?
It wasn't one of my high points in wrestling, but like I said, whatever it takes, you got to do whatever it takes to get back on TV. And, it wasn't anything gruesome.
Right.
But it wasn't my best performance. You know what I mean? It's like, it's kind of like I don't want to be in my bra and panties on television, but if you want me to, I will. And that's what I did, And I feel that if the Jarretts would have used me in a manager role, they would have got a lot more out of me. That's just my opinion. So, but they're doing good for themselves, and all the girls there, from what I've seen, can work their asses off, and God bless them. I wish everybody tons of luck in this business, because the more places there are to work, the better it is for everybody.
Okay, just to change pace a little bit, got some questions from our discussion forums that they'd like to ask.
Okay.
Okay, got one from Kelly from Boston.
Okay.
Who says, when Paul Heyman showed up on Raw, did you or the rest of the guys in ECW have any expectations of being given a WWE contract?
Not really. I mean, the night that Paul debuted, I got a phone call at 9 a.m. telling me that he was going to be on the show. We honestly were still under the impression that we were going to have a pay-per-view, although in our hearts we knew we weren't, but that's what we were being told. So, I mean, if he's not going to tell us that he's going to, take a job, why should we expect to get jobs with him? I mean, I credit Paul, believe me, I credit Paul for my success. I just don't like the way he handled the closing of the company. I thank Paul a million times over for giving me my opportunity, and he's taught me so much about this business. I mean, I know a lot of people, I read New Jack wanted to murder him and then to resurrect him and murder him again.
He said that on our show, exactly.
Yeah, somebody told me that. He said, I mean, it's a funny quote. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I want the man dead, because God forbid, I don't wish death on anybody.
Right.
That's just not me. But I do feel that he could have handled it better, at least for the people who stuck by him and was loyal to him. But when I saw him on the show, the only thing I can say is, I'm glad you got a job. I'm glad you're working,
Would you ever, if you ever left the WWE and tried to run a company again, would you work for him again?
Oh, gosh, I don't know. I mean, it's like, what's that expression, do me wrong once, shame on you, or do me wrong twice, shame on me, something like that. I'm not really sure. I think creatively, he's a genius when it comes to just angles and storylines, but the money aspect of it, I don't know. So I'd have to say I'm not sure on that one.
Dan, you want to take it?
Yep, and then we got two questions from forum member William Gardner. He says, a lot of people in the wrestling business have been releasing books recently. I would like to see one from the Queen of Extreme.
Oh. Well, as long as I'm in the business, no. Because I can get a lot of people in trouble with the knowledge that I have up in my head. And then, you don't want to burn too many bridges and not be able to work anywhere. Maybe down the line, I mean, a lot of funny things have happened, and I'm not in this to be cruel and make any enemies or tell any stories that would, hurt anybody like some people out there. Maybe eventually I'd like to tell my road stories, because we did do a lot of crazy stuff while we were on the road, and you tend to lose your mind when you're away for like 5 days and with the same group of people. So a lot of funny stuff has happened, but I think I still got a couple good years left in me. So not anytime soon is the answer I'm going to give.
And the other question William has is, I recently read a column about the amount of heat Shane Douglas has in the wrestling business. Many names were mentioned, and one of them was yours. Can you explain how that happened and what's behind that?
Yeah, he apparently he went to court. There was two court cases against him, and I'm not really sure which one this fell under. I know I went to court for him one time to talk on his behalf, and I was never called into the courtroom. So then, later on, I guess he went back to court, but I never was subpoenaed, so I did not go to the courtroom. To me, if you don't get subpoenaed, you don't have to be there. So I did not go, and then, a year later or whatever, he comes out with this shoot interview and throws this fit about me on how I abandoned him, and, I didn't show up to testify for him, but I was never subpoenaed. So, if you were in my shoes and you didn't get the subpoena, would you show up?
No,
I didn't have to, to me, I did not have to go. He claims he called me. I never got a phone call from him. So, I mean, again, people can say what they want, and if you're a Shane Douglas fan, you're a diehard fan, you're going to believe him over me, and that's fine. I know how I was raised. I know my ethics. I don't lie about things, especially ridiculous, stupid little things. I don't have to lie about not getting subpoenaed. You know what I mean? If I was, I would have went. I would have did what I had to do. So
random comments that Shane just throws up anyway, just put most of what he says into some sort of doubt anyway. So
he just, it's kind of like the Jasmin thing. Shane just runs off at the mouth. I mean, he talks a lot about other people, and then you end up working with them. And how does that look? I remember when he had an altercation with Scott Hall when we were down in Orlando. I think it was like in 98, I want to say, 97, 98. So he had an altercation with Scott Hall. Now, I'm standing behind Shane because the whole triple threat, we were so tight, and Shane was like a brother to me, and it was myself, Shane, Bam Bam, and Chris Candido. Scott Hall walked in, innocently enough. He wanted to watch the show with his children. Shane throws a fit, doesn't want him in the building, blah, 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 blah. So I'm standing right behind Shane, and Scott says, well, what am I supposed to do? How do I get tickets then? I'll buy tickets. And I said something like, well, you have to go stand in line with the rest of the people. Now, that was really stupid of me to say because, number one, I don't know Scott Hall. I never met him. I was just going by what Shane Douglas told me about him. And, if Shane didn't like him back then, it was like, okay, Shane's my buddy. I'm not going to like him either.
Right.
Well, years later, Scott Hall comes to ECW.
Right.
And here I am working a program with him. And I sat him down and I told him, first of all, I was green. Number two, I talked out of place. I should never. That's why to this day, if you badmouth somebody, that's on you. Until they do something to me, I'm not going to, just because you're my friend, unless they commit murder or something, I'm not going to make an enemy in this business. And I went up to Scott and I said, you can give me the razor's edge as my punishment. And he is one of the nicest men I've ever met in my life. And I just felt like a complete ass about that. And I still apologize. If he's listening, I'm so sorry. But that's, people put their foots in their mouth all the time. And it's just like, I've learned not to do stuff like that. So, Shane is a very opinionated person. And, I used to take everything he said as the truth, but now I'm realizing, maybe he just has his own grudges to deal with. You can't always believe everything a person says, and, I try to give everybody the benefit of the doubt now, and if they didn't hurt me, I'm going to like them. So that's just one example of the many people that, that names have come up for, but, I don't know. I don't know who Shane's latest tirade's on, and I just try to keep my mouth shut. And that's why if I've ever had a problem with anybody, like Jasmin or Shane, they drew first blood first with, expressing their opinions about me. And then I feel I'll rebuttal just to defend myself. But I don't care who you are. If I had a fight with you, I'm not going to go online and, oh, this one is catty, and this one's an idiot, and this one's stupid. What does it do? It makes you sound like a child, basically. And I just don't know. I mean, I wasn't brought up that way. I try not to be that way. And there are a couple people I don't like in this business. I've never made it public, and I'm not going to sit here and badmouth them.
Right.
You know, unless they were to say something about me first, and then I would just have to defend myself. But I'm not really the type of person that's going to sit here and just badmouth somebody for the hell of it.
Right.
There's no point.
Dan, you want to take the next one?
Yeah, going back to TNA, the last topic we mentioned before the questions about forums, do you have any opinions or ideas in your mind as to why you wasn't used after the 5th show?
I don't know. I was told in the beginning it was money problems, you know, and if I was in the Nashville area, I was more than welcome to come by. I don't know. I mean, I loved working there. Like I said, I wish I could have been used different, but I could not tell you. Like, you know, I have no idea why.
Dan?
Would you like to return to TNA?
I would love it. I mean, like I said, I had no problems down there. Everybody was nice. The initial core of girls that I worked with, I don't think any of them are there anymore. I mean, I made some good friends from there. I still talk to the girl that was fluffed up. I still talk to Taylor Vaughn. You know, it's. I don't know why we weren't brought back, because I don't think any of us really understand the reasoning. But like I said, they have a good group of girls now, and you know, if they ever need me, Bob Ryder knows where he can reach me, and I would be delighted to return.
How do you feel about wrestler Trinity going on the men's division and holding her own against Kid Cash?
God bless her. That's great. You know, if she can do it, I mean, I couldn't do it. You know, I would never compare myself to her or any of the women wrestlers. Paul was never a big fan of women's wrestling, so we never did much of it. I mean, I can do a hell of a mixed match, I'll tell you that much. As far as one-on-one matches, I really don't enjoy wrestling myself, and I don't think I have enough experience to do it on a regular basis. I would have to go through all kinds of training again. Girls like Trinity and you know, the other girls that are holding their own, that's wonderful. You know, and I hope they can continue it, because that's, you know, women need to be strong in this business. And like you said earlier, do you think they should just be eye candy? Absolutely not. And I don't think many are anymore. You know, so it's great how much women have evolved in this sport, and I just hope they can continue to do that.
Even with your problems with Shane Douglas, would you work for XPW?
I don't even think they're around anymore.
They are, but they're holding on, barely.
Well, I'll tell you the truth. Rob Black was calling me for a really long time, and he even sent me a DVD player because he wanted to send me some of their DVDs of their shows just to get me familiar with the product. And I had said something like, well, send me a VHS format cassette because I don't have a DVD player. And then when I went to the post office, he had sent me the player, which I thought was very nice of him. So now I have a DVD from Rob Black, so thank you, Rob Black. But, I mean, you know, when I spoke to Rob on the phone, he was really professional, and I mean, we brought up the stuff about the California pay-per-view and laughed about it, and you know, do I think they disrespected us? I do, but you know, what are you going to do? I mean, I don't see much of a future for SPW. I could be wrong. Just because they're having pay-per-views does not mean that they're running live shows. I believe their pay-per-views are going to be compilations of their taped product. That's what I was told. But if they do come around, like I said, better for business, you know, more places for people to work, because there's like 50 million indie workers in the United States, and there's like 2-3 companies that they can work for that have TV coverage.
What is the story about the Heatwave 2000 incident? Just the California pay-per-view.
Basically, it was just really disrespectful. You know, they had spoke to Paul before the show started. They wanted to sit first row, hard camera side.
Right.
So they bought their tickets, to my knowledge. They paid, I think they were like $150 a pop or something. So they bought their tickets, and Paulie told them, you know, no XPW shirts, and they agreed. There were people, because I know, because I stood on the side that those guys were sitting at, and I know there was also people up in the balcony section. So there was some kind of signal given off or something to that effect, and when they gave the signal, it was the main event, mind you, and we only had like so many minutes to do this match. they gave a signal, and next thing you know, they're putting their shirts on, and the one girl, I can't remember her name, but the one girl stands on a chair and takes her top off. And you got two guys working their asses off in the ring on pay-per-view who are limited to maybe 9 minutes, 8-9 minutes tops or whatever to get their stuff in. And then this girl and these guys go and disrespect them. I mean, I would never go to somebody else's show and do something like that. And to me, it was just not even a lack of respect for ECW, but a lack of respect for the wrestling business as a whole. And they just disrespected all the other workers there. And then it got to the point where I just told that girl just to put your shirt on because the guys are trying to work. And next thing you know, there's a big riot and everybody's getting beat up outside. And they took like 7 minutes away from the main event. So the guys had to cut their stuff down big time. And, it overall was just disrespectful. So I think hopefully Rob Black has learned from that experience. And, if he does have a company still, hopefully he won't make the same mistakes that he did before. But as for me working for them, I really have no intentions of doing that.
Dan, any others?
Another one that's often submitted by the forums, but wasn't this time, which is quite a surprise. Would you ever want to go to WWE?
You know what? Right now, I'm really not interested. Their schedule is a little too grueling. I'm at a point where I don't want to be on the road 5 days a week. Maybe if they were to do, bring the manager back, the female manager back. They really don't use them, the women as managers that much anymore. And like I said, for myself, I'm not a big fan of women's wrestling. I like to watch it. There's a lot of talented women out there. I really don't like to wrestle one-on-one myself, so I probably would not fit with what Vince McMahon wants. It would be an awesome opportunity, though, no doubt, but I'm very happy with what I'm doing now, and, I'd be happy working 1 or 2 days a week for a company like MLW. That would be plenty for me. I mean, I've had success. I've done pay-per-views. Now I'm just doing it because I still love the business, and I'm just trying to earn a living. And a lot of these people are so hungry because they want to get to a level where everybody knows who they are and to work pay-per-views and stuff. And I think I've accomplished a lot being with ECW, but there's still more that I can do. I just don't think I want to do it 5 nights a week.
If you could kind of take over the role or on-screen kind of character of any of the current WWE divas, in speech marks, would you, who would they be? Which one would they be?
If I could take over the role?
Yeah, kind of if you could play their gimmick.
I think Stephanie McMahon is just awesome. I mean, I like her better as a heel, but when she would come out, she would get tremendous heat, and, basically, I think my character was a lot like her character. Sometimes I notice that she gets the same kind of crack word chants that I used to get. So I think our characters might be kind of similar in that aspect. I also admire Ivory. She can go heel or babyface. She's an awesome worker. She's good on the mic. She looks great. They have so much talent there. There's really not one girl I can pinpoint, because they all add something. I think I associate the most with Stephanie's role, I think. But to be honest with you, I have not been watching much of WWE programming, so I really don't even know what's going on.
Join the club.
Yeah, I mean, not as a slap in the face. I just, I haven't really watched it. If I could get my hands on a good indie tape, I enjoy that. I enjoy watching, because, they work so hard.
Absolutely.
And it's so fresh, and there's just, they're trying new things out there, and it's not some rehashed angle from, 2 years ago, and
right.
I'm just a big indie fan.
Dan, do you want to do word associations?
Yes, indeed.
Okay, should I do it or you?
I hate word associations. I might have to pass on a lot of these names.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
And I don't want you to air that part either.
We won't. We'll cut it.
Okay.
Okay, just incredible.
Very, very cool guy.
Electra.
Nice girl. I haven't seen her, for a year, but I always got along with her.
And Paul Heyman.
Like I said, he gave me my break, so I will forever be grateful to him.
How about Raven?
Raven, he's a friend of mine. I'll actually see him tomorrow when I go to Fort Lauderdale for MLW. So he's very funny.
Jerry Lynn?
Jerry Lynn is my dance partner. I love Jerry Lynn. We when we're bored, we bust dance moves out, and we sing songs and we dance together. We're a little corny like that, but yeah, Jerry and I get along great.
Dan, is there anybody you want to throw in?
No. I believe that's it.
Is there anything you want to say to your fans before we hang out?
Yeah, I would. I would just like to tell everybody thank you for sticking by me. Even when I haven't, been on TV, people are still coming to the website. Can I plug the website?
Sure, go for it.
Okay. It's www.foreverfrancine.com. And, I just a big thank you to everybody, those who stuck by me, those who believe in me and believe my stories. I'm forever grateful to you guys as well, and I love you all. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you very much for this interview.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. And can I ask you, would it be possible for you to send a transcript to Bobby so then we can put it on the website?
Sure, we could.
And then we can maybe put a link.
Sure.
Guys?
Absolutely. We'll do that for you. Absolutely.
Okay, great.
All right. Stay tuned for more from the interactive interview.
Enjoying what you're hearing? Be sure and check out WrestlingEpicenter.com on social media at Facebook.com/WrestlingEpicenter, on Twitter at James Epicenter, and of course, WrestlingEpicenter.com for 24-hour news updates, our interview archives, and all the other information you've come to expect from the Wrestling Epicenter.
Hey, this is Devon Dudley of the Dudley Boys, and you are listening right now to Interactive Radio. Oh, my brother, testify.
This is Missy Hyatt, and you're listening to the Interactive Interview.
Hi, this is Sherry Martell, and you're listening to the Interactive Interview.
We just finished up with Francine. What do you think, Dan?
You were certainly. What do you think, Dan? Think about what? About the interview, about life, about random stuff?
What did you think about the egg deficit in Guam?
It was very, thinking of words that I can use. It's very formal.
Yes, well, we're off to a raging start right now. What did you think of the Francine interview, Dan?
It was good. So much longer than we thought. It's much better than we thought.
Absolutely, and I'm really glad she answered some of the questions that we asked her, because I had a feeling she wasn't going to answer a few of them, but she did. And the only thing
it's really nice of you to get your mum to do that interview with us.
Huh?
It's really kind. It's really good. Really nice.
Francine is not my mother.
You sound so much like her. Dude, I swear.
My mother has a thick New York accent. And I struggle pronouncing certain words, and Francine has a sweeter voice. You can love her mother's voice very much, but Francine has this a little bit softer voice, and hers is like I don't know what kind of accent it is, maybe Philadelphia, which is pretty much the same as New York, but different in ways. Maybe to you it's the same. Dan's phone is doing the texting dance. It's text and you hear
Ooh, that's a good message.
Who's it from?
None of your business. I'm going to play tennis in an hour. So, yeah.
Oh, how to play tennis? What game of tennis, anyone?
Doing good.
Tennis, anyone? You know what? I just had an idea for a gimmick.
What?
I say we create a manager.
Good.
We give this guy a name, and he brings a tennis racket to the ring.
Oh.
And he wears all polyester.
With glasses?
Yeah. Could be a little heavy, too.
Hmm?
He might be a little bit overweight at times.
All right.
What do you think?
He can, he might be able to graduate into a booker for FEW.
Really?
Yeah.
Maybe you can create a wrestling league up at Smoky Mountain?
That's all right. And, you know, I hear he's quite good at getting people out of situations, like, say, random situation, let's say, when WWE called up two developmental guys who were feuding in OVW and put them together in a tag team and then call them brothers. Oh, dear. Yeah.
Okay, so I guess you like that gimmick.
Yeah, I like it.
Alright. This episode of the Interactive Interview is brought to you by the letter 7. Alright, we're a little bit weird today. To let you know, I haven't slept in about 3 days, so I'm a little goofy as usual, and Dan's a little bit Danish.
I'm looking at my
Is Danish the same as Danish? And when did Danish become being from a country and some sort of a funny-looking role?
Because that... obviously, Danish isn't a word.
Danish isn't a word, or Danish isn't a word?
Danish.
Okay.
Not to be like that.
Yes, it is.
No.
Of like Dan.
Stop.
Okay.
You're wrong. It's raining.
It's raining.
Not in my room. Outside it's raining. My friend jinxed it earlier on. He said to me, oh look, nice weather.
Oh.
You'll have to play tonight. Well, you definitely jinxed it. Because it's tipping it.
You could play in the rain. Come on, it's fun.
Yeah, I know, but he won't. I might get my racket wet. I've got these new trainers that I don't want to get wet.
This reminds me of a question I asked somebody yesterday. Back when I used to go to a public pool in New Jersey, and for those who don't know, it's the Richfield Pool in New Jersey. When it would start to rain, they'd close the pool. My theory is they didn't want you to get wet. I've never understood why they close a pool when it starts to rain. I can understand when it starts lightning. When it's just raining, what's the fear?
It's slip around the side of the pool. No one step over and crack head.
That could be. You've cracked my theory.
It has to be. Think about it. It has to be.
That might be, but still, if you see how many people coming to these little shitheads are doing these can openers in the pool, cannonballs and stuff. I never did do it. You never did a can opener.
What the hell is a can opener?
Something you used to open cans, Dan. You know what a cannonball is, right?
That's going to be a sound clip, right? We're not really recording a recap, are we? You're just taking stupid sound clips. You're just going to take a little thing and have me say, what the hell is a can opener?
Yeah, I'm going to create a commercial to start the show. You're listening to the Interactive Interview with James Walsh and Dan Etla. What the hell is a can opener?
And the guy from the Smoky Mountain who knows how to WWE developmental. Yeah, random words together. With the guy from WWE Smoky Developmental Mountain.
Yes.
Yes.
I have no idea what that was.
The letter 7. See, I can make you laugh by saying your own joke. Oh, that's good.
Yes, I'm funny. What the hell were we talking about 5 minutes ago before we started that? Have you ever done a cannonball into a pool?
Yes. I've done a cannonball, not a flipping can opener.
A can opener is just a one-leg cannonball, but you go more far back on your back. More far back on your back, if that makes any sense.
I'm trying to visualize it. The only thing I'm visualizing is that gallon.
Is that gallon? Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a bad joke.
It's not a bad joke. I'm serious.
Why? Because he only has one leg?
Because you said one leg.
Okay.
Well, I'm visualizing.
Be honest. Do you think Zach Gallon's a better name or Tenacious Z?
That gallon.
I think Tenacious Z's a better name.
Because Z doesn't exist in the UK. The letter Z. Z.
The letter Z does not exist in the UK.
It's called the letter Z. Not the letter Z.
What else don't they have in...
To me, it was Tenacious Z.
What color is the sky in your world, Dan?
At the moment, it's black.
Okay.
It's raining.
Oh.
That's bad.
I live in Arizona, so I don't think we've seen rain since February. I'm serious. It is like 8,000 degrees out here every day.
At that point, since we actually recorded the interview, I've had my since the last interview, shall I say, we've had technical difficulties.
Absolutely.
And my car radio, my car stereo, I dropped it and broke the volume control. So since then, right, I put it in for servicing, waited like a week, got it back, sold it, bought a new one.
Sold it and bought a new one. And what happened then?
What?
What happened then?
Then I put it in my car and it works.
That's a good story.
Yeah, I'm just letting you know.
Ah, okay.
I'm giving it a sort of time frame.
Is there a CD player on there? Oh, are you saying that it's been a long time?
Yes, that's what I'm trying to say.
Oh, well, I caught on fast.
Yes. Go
Hey.
to your camera.
Yes, I am. Well, Dan, I told you I haven't slept in 3 nights, so a little while ago I thought the Care Bears were here. Geese and chickens. Help me with the bats, Dan. I think I'm fighting them, folks. By the way, you went to a concert the other night, didn't you not, Daniel?
I did.
And who did you go see?
Went to see Bon Jovi.
My hometown boys.
Yeah.
Bon Jovi.
They even mentioned your hometown.
What was that, New Jersey?
Yep.
All right.
And Ray Davis,
Who the hell's Ray Davis?
the Kinks lead singer.
Oh, all right.
He came on and did a later.
I don't know. I don't think they ever had any rhythm. So everything I've ever heard about is sounded like a drunken sailor.
Yeah, and of course, Kiss are really good. Yeah.
Who, the Kinks?
Kiss are really good as well.
Who's the first one?
I said Kiss are really good as well, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
Hey, if you could be a band for 30 years and still release stuff that people buy and be #1 on the bestseller list before your album comes out. And if you want to check that out, check out Amazon.com. They were ranked like #3 on the best-selling list. And the album doesn't come out for 3 more weeks.
Well, you see, I'm not going to get... I agree. I can't personally be a band that goes for 30 years.
Yes.
Be in a band. Well, I can... He said to me, can you be a band? He said, alright. I was thinking here the whole time while you're rambling. I'm thinking, yeah, I've got a way to make James look stupid. No, I cannot personally be a band. That's true. Sorry.
You could be a one-man gang.
That would be a gangster band, though, wouldn't it?
Why can't you be a one-man band?
That'd be a band.
Your gimmick, your wrestling gimmick could be you walk to the ring with a drum set and a guitar.
You could do that.
Yeah.
Or you could not. You should have been.
What the hell are we talking about?
I have no idea.
I don't know if we should use this. I think we're just rambling.
Currently on the 3SWforums.com, I've got the Nostalgia Week.
What's Nostalgia Week, Dan?
So we go retro from the past 18 months and spin up.
Oh?
Bring back old things and old names.
Who are some old names that I've forgotten about? Edgehead?
Not an old name.
Let's think
The only old name that's come back I can think of is Blackthorn.
Blackborn?
Blackthorn.
Who the hell is that?
He's the guy who's done all the comic drawings of 3SW posters. Very, very, very good artist.
Ask him to do some logos for us.
And, yeah, there's certain things that are like old topics that might have wonderful been brought back. Old signature banners and avatars. The old banner logo for the main sort of top logo thing.
Huh.
The old post topic and post reply banners. I went through and found. So, yeah.
Wow. So it's like Christmas garage sale all over again.
Just like that.
Do you have garage sales? Do you have garage sales in England?
Yes.
Do they call them that?
No.
What do they call them?
Boot
Rummage sales. What?
sales.
Boot sales?
B-O-O-T. Boot.
Boot sales.
Uh-huh.
Now, you realize you can't sell other things besides old footwear. But then again, we're not selling garages either.
Exactly. Right then. Thank you.
Well, I can't believe I just saw the logic in England. Okay. Well, what else we got to talk about? Let's do some wrestling news really quickly, Daniel. We haven't done this in a while.
Let's talk about flowers.
Flowers?
Pictures of painted sky.
Pretty pictures.
WWE.
Wait, quickly. It's funny you mentioned that, and I started seeing pretty pictures. When I was in high school, we had this teacher called Mr. Veloso. And there was a couple people in my class that liked to make them get really, really angry. And one day the guy got pissed off and picked up a hammer and threw it at him. So somebody wrote a song about him, about that day. And what they wrote was like a really deranged song about this guy who draws pictures for a living. And they had our art teacher, who was like probably 70 years old at the time, come out and sing it. And the song just was Pretty Pictures. Okay, so go.
Yeah. Mr. America, a.k.a. Hulk Hogan.
Yes.
As he'll be revealed to be on this week's SmackDown.
What do you do?
They showed on SmackDown, some SmackDown tapings, which were recorded last night.
Uh-huh.
The night before last, on Tuesday.
Yeah.
They had the old, they showed camera views of Hogan, of Mr. America, unmasking himself, and it being Hogan.
What was that?
Of course, they played out the gimmick that when Vince found out that Mr. America was Hogan, Hogan was fired. And of course, Hogan quit WWE earlier this week. So therefore,
Wait a second. Where's the camera angle from that they can see him unmasking? I know at the end of last week's SmackDown, after that whole bullshit match happened, and that was a horrible match, and I lost a lot of respect for Angle and Brock, because if you have 20-something thousand people screaming Hogan, you improvise. You don't just sit there with a thumb up your ass in a tag team match. You have to learn how to work the people. Okay, so what was I saying? Okay. At the end of the match, Hogan got up and he slammed Big Show and pretty much ruled the ring. You know, sent the fans home happy, even though the cameras were turned off. So they were sending the fans home happy, and Hogan ripped the mask off. So maybe that's what they'll show.
Could be.
Huh?
Well, no, they did that, and yeah, so he's gone.
Hogan quit the WWE because if I was to take a guess, what do you think, Dan?
I don't know. What do you think, James? Your opinions.
I think Egomaniac McMahon went up to Hogan and said, "I'm gonna beat you, brother." And he thought he was gonna win at Vengeance and pin Hulk Hogan in a match. And Hogan was thinking to himself, "I'm gonna get beat by the announcer guy," and walked the hell out. That's what I think.
Apparently it's that and something to do with his WrestleMania payoff as well.
WrestleMania what?
His payoff for WrestleMania.
They didn't pay him? They didn't pay him right?
No, they paid him right, but apparently it's quite low. Quite the low payoff. And so
well, I guess they're not going to say he wasn't the main event then, huh? Because he wasn't the last match.
And Crash Holly's been released as well.
Oh, boy.
Some Crash.
Poor Crash.
Poor Crash.
I don't know, is he any good?
Yeah.
I mean, what style is he? Is it an X Division style or what?
He's kind of X Division / hardcore kind of. He can be a high flyer.
Yeah.
Never used him like that.
Yeah, I don't know. From what I saw, I wasn't that impressed.
Apparently he's now a nightclub bouncer.
He's not going to TNA then, huh?
No. Oh, he could do both, I guess, if he works Friday and Saturday. No.
Okay. What else is new? Oh, Roddy Piper got fired.
Yeah.
Now, How much are they telling you, really, why he got fired?
Apparently it's because of his comments on that, I think HBO, I'm really not up to date with the American TV channels, but on that program.
For those who don't know what he said, I taped the thing and I watched it. Piper more or less talked about drug use in wrestling, people dying, and saying that 7 of 10 people in wrestling are on drugs. And, to be perfectly honest with you, there's a real good chance he's right. And I'm not...
He just told the truth.
I know things.
Vince is on there completely trying to defend his arse.
Yeah. And Vince is in character. I hate when Vince goes on these interviews to make news, and he's in character. It's like that thing he did a couple of years ago. He did this thing where he went on, what the hell was it? On the record or off the record, or one of those stupid things, on HBO. And he was in character, and he almost slapped the host. Well, don't go in character, you jackass, you. Pardon me. Continue.
Yeah, so Roddy's gone as well, so they're pretty much, like, cutting some of their talent from SmackDown, man.
SmackDown? Well, it seems like they cut enough talent from SmackDown. They cut Hogan and they cut Piper.
And Crash Holly.
Was Crash even on SmackDown?
Yep.
Okay.
So they're all gone. Who's next?
I don't think Goldberg.
Huh?
Nah, I think he'll stick around a while if they start using him. They're starting to use him right. You know, squash matches, but...
I heard that he thinks that people are just sort of they're just using him in WWE to kill his character.
Well, what did you think was going to happen, Goldberg?
Talking of killing characters, Kane's unmasked.
Yes, that killed his character, absolutely. And did I hear right, is he bald now?
Yes.
What does the WWE have against hair?
Billy Kidman cut his?
Yes, I saw that too.
Talking about hair, they don't like hair. Test cut his, Christian cut his.
Eddie Guerrero cut his a while ago. Kane.
Triple H. Yeah.
Triple H is still wrong.
No, I'm joking.
I think he was thinking, I want to be the only one in the WWE with hair. Edge has long hair, doesn't he?
Yeah, I know.
Well, I haven't seen him in a while, though. Has anybody?
Angle.
Yeah, he had to cut his, but I think he might have been going bald.
He wanted to cut his. I got a picture of him on my wall with hair. Fine picture.
Yeah, I think he might have been going bald. I think he might have started like, I'll start to lose my hair, so I want to go shave it.
Picture?
Yeah, he's starting to go bald, I think.
Oh. Sable?
Sable?
That's a joke. I'm saying, like, a bald sable would be funny. I'm sure it is funny.
Yes, it is. For some reason, I think she shaves already.
Yeah, I agree.
What am I talking about?
Playboy seems to dictate that.
Oh, that's another news thing. She and Mark Mello split, haven't they?
Mm-hmm. They split when she rejoined WWE.
I guess he kind of saw it as her selling out.
Mm.
You think?
Either that or he realized it's a completely stupid idea.
Right. Well, I don't understand what they... And that's another thing I have to ask you. Why is every woman in the WWE a lesbian? It seems like no matter what, every woman in the WWE has to have some sort of a lesbian character. At least tease lesbianism. Why?
Or even Jazz.
I don't know. I don't even know if she likes... I don't know if she's whatever. I'm not going to defend her.
I think I know what you're trying to say, but you just...
I don't know if she's a woman. No, I'm not trying to say that.
That's true. Yeah.
Okay.
What? just round up. Good interview with Francine. Went very long. Liked it. Got one coming up with Danny Doring.
Yeah, we recorded the same day.
Yeah, same kind of topics. What?
Yep.
So yeah, check out that on the interactiveinterview.com. So
And
also coming soon.
Go ahead.
Also coming soon.
Say that again?
I rambled. Ignore me. Okay, so we got Mike Awesome. Eventually, we finally got there.
Yep.
Ken Shamrock.
Right.
Nwa Tna's Shining Star Trinity.
You threw in my little line there. By the way, since I started calling her that, ask the forums right now. Anybody in the forums from America? Did you notice that they're starting to use that phrase, shining star, in shampoo commercials now? I'll take full credit for that. I think they said, that sounds cool. I'm going to steal it.
Yes. Also coming up, we have Kevin Sullivan.
Yes, Sullivan, my son.
And
yes, father.
And we're still trying to agree a date with Sting.
Yeah.
And my phone's gonna go again. Oh dear me.
What did they say? What did they say?
This time it's not even a. It's like a phone call this time. I'm gonna reject it. There we go. Reject it. But I believe that it was from the person I'm playing tennis with. So you know what? I was looking at the time.
Yeah.
I'm late.
You're late?
I am.
Oh my God, Ella's having a baby.
Shut up. I think now would be a good time to.
Well, I just wanted to say this. We have to actually say something about the Francine interview. Said, good interview, hot. We actually have to say what it was like. So, do you think Jasmin will be happy about what was said?
I don't.
No, I don't think so either.
Jasmin, if you're listening, hi. Hi. Yeah.
That'll clear things up real well. Many's the time I get into a heated debate with somebody, and I just go, put my hand on the shoulder and say, hi, and everything's all better.
Well, you see. I've never said anything bad about Jasmin.
You never said anything good either.
I have. I've never said anything bad about her, but you have. And
I have.
Yeah, I've never sold her tapes on eBay either. So,
that I gotta give you.
Therefore.
Yes, that I give you.
Hi, Jasmin, big hug. Just to let you know if you're listening, don't get angry with us yet. Get angry with us after you've had Benny Goring in.
Oh, God, yeah.
Still our bridges with a second promotion.
Yes.
BPW will hate us.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, and return our call. We left you a message from return our call.
And we really don't mean to have any heat. We can't control what people say.
Pieces. Oh, sorry, James, that was to you. Yes. So, submit your questions for the interviews that I've just mentioned. You can go to 3swforums.com, which is currently on the Nostalgia Week, but you're still available.
Plus, you can read the 300-question survey I submitted to the about you or whatever the hell get to know me by a question section. You don't know who Lee Iacocca is, do you?
No. Well, I really do have to go. So, even though it's still raining, I'm still going to go and play tennis.
Don't you have courts that are, like, indoors?
Not the one I'm going to.
Then why don't you go to a different one?
Yeah, because there's only 3, and they're all outside.
Hey, you know what I'm going to play?
Oh, I just got a message, and I'm about to get another one. Yep. Yeah, another one.
What's the message you say?
Saying, where are you?
Where are you?
Yeah, where am I? I'm supposed to pick him up 4 minutes ago.
Why don't you write down... That's a philosophical question, isn't it? Where are we all, really?
James?
Are we really stuck in a black hole? Yes?
This has been the Francine interview with the interactive interview. On theinteractiveinterview.com. Coming up next, we have Danny Doring, then we have Trinity.
Oh, la 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 la.
we'll finish the show with James doing soprano.
Well, I'm going to play something. Let's think.
No, I don't care. I just want to get off the tent.
Okay. Miles Away by Winger. Going to see them in about 3 weeks. Come out down and see him in the Cricket Pavilion, Arizona. I'll be there. I'm going solo since my fucking date turned off on me.
This has been the Interactive Interview and the Interactive.com.
Go see Rock Never Stops. RockNeverStops.com. Whitesnake, Winger, Slaughter, Warrant. Go, go, go!
FreeStrandWrestling.com.
Yes. Do I make fun of those people enough this time?
Who?
Curious Debbie Forms?
Yes, you did. Let's go. Go, go.
We gotta get JoJo. We gotta get JoJo.
Go.
Okay.
Get JoJo.
We get JoJo. We gotta get JoJo for the end of Trinity interview. How about that?
Okay.
Is that a deal?
Okay, deal.
JoJo, me JoJo trivia. Winner gets Kelly.
Okay, doke.
How's that sound?
Okay. Bye, boobies.
Bye, boobies.
Mm-hmm. Aren't you saying things to shut you up?
Are you saying goodbye to Jasmin?
Just, no.
Okay.
I put words in my mouth. Put other things in my mouth.
I'm not that one, okay. With that one, I do go. This is Miles Away by Winger. Take it out. Take it away, Kippy.
Enjoying what you're hearing? Be sure and check out WrestlingEpicenter.com on social media at Facebook.com/WrestlingEpicenter. On Twitter at James Epicenter. And of course, WrestlingEpicenter.com for 24-hour news updates, our interview archives, and all the other information you've come to expect from the Wrestling Epicenter.